Every day we breathe in almost 3,000 gallons of air. So the quality of air that we breathe in, it has a direct impact on our overall health levels and how we feel throughout the day. My name is Eddie Kelly and I'm a sensors product specialist for Belimo. So as human beings, we spend our life in different locations. We could be at a bar or restaurant, we could be at university, we could be at school, we could be outside. But as you can see here, as humans, we spend most of our life indoors. It becomes extremely important to monitor indoor air quality levels, seeing how much of this air we are breathing in throughout our livelihood. So again, every single day we breathe in over 3,000 gallons of air. So when you look at the actual volume of air that we breathe in every day, it's really important and easy to realize that indoor air quality levels and the quality of air that you're breathing in will have a direct impact on your health, and it's extremely important to monitor and optimize this air that we bring in. So what is indoor air quality and how does it directly affect us? Well, firstly, indoor air quality refers to the levels when it comes to comfort and more specifically and more importantly, health. So if we break indoor air quality up into a few different categories, we've got temperature, we've got humidity, we've got VOCs or volatile organic compounds, we've got CO2, we've got airflow, and we also have particle size. So the first topic we want to discuss today is humidity. Firstly, what is humidity? Humidity is the measurement of moisture in the air itself. So when talking about air quality, it's the amount of moisture that we actually are breathing into our body. If we surround ourselves in a low humidity type of environment, our skin's gonna get dry, our skin's gonna start cracking, our eyes are gonna get dry, which is gonna cause excessive tearing. We could also witness and experience some sort of mild dehydration issues, of course, due to the low moisture levels. On top of that, as dehydration gets a little bit worse, dehydration can actually impair our brain function and impair the way that we think and act. So when looking at all of these different side effects of low moisture and low humidity, it becomes extremely important that we really do have to control and monitor the humidity levels within the environment around us. So at certain humidity levels and certain moisture levels, the water size droplets, the actual size of the droplets within the air itself, become very important to our overall health. So on low moisture levels, the water droplet size within the air that we're breathing in is actually much smaller. So this becomes very important because the size of the water droplet actually determines how long that water droplet actually stays on a surface, or more specifically, if we're talking about indoor air quality and moving air around our facilities, having a smaller water droplet will actually allow this droplet of water to be circulated around our system. So why is this important? Well, as we know today, we're surrounded by this COVID pandemic, and of course, airborne pathogens are extremely important and really under the spotlight. So these airborne pathogens can actually attach themselves to these water molecules. So basically the life of this water molecule kind of determines how long this pathogen will be around in our system. So bringing this back into indoor air quality, it becomes extremely important to really monitor humidity levels and monitor moisture levels, making sure that these water droplet sizes are not on the very small end where these pathogens are able to survive for long amounts of time. So by keeping indoor humidity levels between 40% and 60%, we really do have an ideal moisture content in the air around us. What this is going to do is it's going to help us cut down on the risk of viral infections and airborne pathogens. It's also going to help us cut down on the potential mold growth and growth of mold spores that could eventually be harmful to us as well. We're also going to be able to cut down on the growth of bacteria and slowly reduce the risk of bacteria growth within our indoor environment. So switching gears now from humidity, another very important aspect of indoor air quality and how it affects our overall health, of course, is temperature and airflow, or the velocity of the air around us. Low temperature air and cold air actually directly impacts our health and how we feel overall. So immediately when we get cold, we actually inadvertently tense our muscles up and our muscles become to get a little bit more tighter. On top of this tense muscle issue, our immune system actually gets weaker as we get colder. So as you can imagine, the cold air around us has a direct impact to our health on the outside, as well as our health on the inside and overall comfort levels. Any increased draft will actually, of course, increase the discomfort when it comes to perspiration. So on top of the discomfort due to this increased draft, cool body parts cannot maintain normal operation, and they're eventually going to dry out or potentially lose their defense mechanisms. Another very important aspect of overall indoor air quality, of course, is CO2. So us as humans, when we breathe in air, we exhale CO2. Just as a reference point, overall, on average outside, typical CO2 levels fall around 400 parts per million or 400 ppm. When we breathe in air as a human and we exhale CO2, we actually exhale CO2 at levels upwards of 40,000 ppm. So when it comes to our indoor work environments, maintaining and optimizing indoor CO2 levels is absolutely crucial. Once we start to hit around 1,000 parts per million of CO2 and we start to really ingest that air, we'll start to have direct effects on our overall health levels, and we'll start to feel drowsy, we'll get a little less productive, some headaches might occur. So it's extremely important to maintain and monitor our CO2 levels at work to make sure we remain productive and healthy. So another very important aspect of indoor air quality is what we call volatile organic compounds, otherwise known as VOCs. VOCs are chemicals that would actually be airborne and embed themselves again on these water molecules that will have a direct impact on our overall health as we breathe these molecules in. So we're all familiar with colognes, perfumes, shampoos, things of that nature. All of these put out potentially harmful volatile organic compounds. So if we're breathing in too many VOCs, of course, depending on what the VOCs are, we'll start to have a sore throat. We could potentially feel some itchy eyes, of course, depending on what the actual compound is. Some of these VOCs will cause fatigue and will cause headaches. Also can cause drowsiness and, of course, loss of productivity when it comes to being in our work environment. So on top of the previous indoor air quality measurements and really topics around indoor air quality, another very important aspect of indoor air quality is the actual size of the particles that we're breathing in. So we could look at our lungs as we breathe in almost like a filter. The smaller particles are going to be able to move through this filter faster and easier, whereas the larger particles are going to be able to be caught up more in this filter. As particle sizes get smaller, they'll have more of an immediate impact on our overall health levels. Some of these impacts could be an allergic reaction to what we're breathing in, such as pollen or the air outside. We also can inhibit certain lung types of infections based on the particle size itself, which of course plays a direct role into people that have asthma or other types of lung chronic illnesses. It's also important to really monitor and maintain your humidity levels to be between 40% and 60% relative humidity. Fresh air is absolutely important when it comes to the overall impact and overall health of indoor air quality and the air quality around us. Air handler units themselves play an absolutely critical role when it comes to healthy indoor air. So first of all, they bring in fresh air from the outside into the building, and they help remove CO2 in VOCs. With the right air filters in place, they can actually hinder pollen, dust, and even microbes from entering the building itself. So with the heat and cooling registers of these air handlers, they can actually condition the air to a more comfortable temperature, and the humidifiers help to keep the humidity between 40% and 60% relative humidity, and the cooling register can also condensate high humidity out of the air. So to ensure a comfortable environment overall, the air distribution system plays another important role when it comes to maintaining specific air velocities and maintaining equal distribution of this conditioned air. Furthermore, the measurement in these zones and these specific buildings deliver vital feedback. So in an effort to continuously maintain and optimize the indoor air quality around us, sensors can be used to measure different aspects of indoor air quality, such as humidity, temperature, VOCs, and CO2. It's extremely important to have a sensor with high accuracy, low response time, low drift rate, and a sensor that's really well built and robust. The accuracy and response time of the sensors being used is going to have a direct impact on the overall health levels because you're only able to control what you can measure. So a few of the takeaways we really want to drive home here today is the fact that VOCs, or volatile organic compounds, CO2 levels, humidity levels, temperature levels, and airflow has a direct impact on our overall health levels and comfort. Again, the sweet spot for relative humidity in a room is between 40 and 60% relative humidity. So in summary here, there are various known air quality parameters which do have a direct influence on overall human health levels. The biggest issue is supplying a room with adequate amount of fresh air. Air handler units are an adequate solution, again, for pre-processing the air before it enters your facilities. Utilizing reliable sensors within your facilities also plays a critical role when it comes to demand control ventilation, room comfort, and really monitoring and optimizing overall indoor air quality levels. Thank you for your interest.